Hi, you guys. Welcome to our Leapfrog Hacks Live with Jovanka Ciares. It's our last one, and I'm so excited that it's with Jovanka. Jovanka, tell everybody hi.
Hello, Nicola. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. We've been here, kind of like part of this process from the beginning. So I'm excited that we're having this conversation today. I won't call it an interview. I think we should be a conversation.
It's a conversation, a devastation. So we're just gonna sit
Yes,
here and talk like
that-
divas about some wonderful wellness and health tips and hacks from the business side. Not
Mhm.
necessarily. Well, we can talk a few, I guess, about your body and your mind and your spirit and all that, but mostly from a business side. So I hope that we have some ladies who are online. If you are, please click like, hit a heart, type a comment. That's always great. We want to know that we're talking to somebody and not just each other. So we are on Facebook Live right now. We're excited that you guys are here, and we want to dive right into the content. So let us know that you're there by leaving us a content. Hi, Celestine. I see that you left a comment. Thank you so very much. If there's anyone else who's out there, please help us out, Celestine, or anyone else. Please share this video, share it in our Fit, Fun, and Fabulous groups, all of them, the Diva Hood, everywhere. Let them know that we are live. And if we have anyone on the Leapfrog side, please go ahead now and share the video
Yeah.
out to the VIP groups and everywhere they need to go.
Feel free to share
So,
my page too. I think I shared, but I may not be able to multitask. I'll try.
oh,
We'll
yes,
see.
yes. So, oh, we see Natalie's on. Hi, Natalie. We're here discussing your book. Most specifically, we are discussing Hack 18 with Jovanka
Yep.
Ciares.
Yes.
So if there's anyone else who is online, go ahead and do some likes for us. Let us know that you're there. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and get started as we
Yeah.
see others join in. So, Jovanka, how are you feeling? Are you
I'm
excited?
feeling I'm feeling great. Just ready to get started. I'm ready to dive into the questions and excited about this amazing book that's already changing the lives of many women. I mean, I wish I had a book like this when I first started my entrepreneurial journey. I did have Natalie because we have been friends quite literally since about just a few months before I left my corporate job.
Oh,
And
wow.
so she's been instrumental in helping me in that process of growing a business and understanding what it is to become an entrepreneur and moving away from the fear of like, what is this fancy word that we talk about, entrepreneurship? Remember her saying things like, do you remember when your grandmother used to or your great grandmother used to iron shirts for the people in the neighborhood or used to cook for the men that would go to work every morning? She was an
Yeah.
entrepreneur.
Oh,
And so
man.
they're like, oh my God, we, especially multicultural women, women of color, have seen our mothers and grandmothers be entrepreneurs probably for hundreds of years.
For hundreds of years. Well, you know what, Jovanka? I think it's just you said a lot of things that I want to touch on, but the first thing I want to touch on is, man. So you and Natalie have been friends since you started your entrepreneurial career, if you will. Now, what a blessing is that? Like, that's insane. That's the best resource that you can have. So
Thank
help
you.
us out, Joe, and let us know, how did you guys meet? And I know it's in a book. So if you read the book, you already know this story. But if
Yeah.
you haven't, go ahead and give some of the folks who are watching just a little bit about how you and Natalie met and how your business came to be, if that's okay with
Okay,
you.
sure. Of course. So I'll tell you, in a previous life, I was an executive in the entertainment industry. I moved from my homeland of Puerto Rico when I was in my early 20s to New York to kind of follow my dreams and life. I went to school at NYU, graduate school, and then I worked in music publishing in the entertainment industry, specifically music, for about 12 years or so. And I climbed the corporate ladder relatively quickly. I became one of the youngest women in the executive suite, what they call people at a VP level or above. And I was one of 3 women of color worldwide.
Mm.
at that level. And so I was doing great, traveling the world, working with fancy people like Beyonce and Jay-Z and Crazy Kanye and, you know, the Motown Carol and Sting and all
Not
kinds
the
of
crazy
things.
Kanye.
There's a lot of really fancy, sexy sounding, you know, ideas and tones to this particular career. But unfortunately, I was getting very sick. I was very stressed out. My body, I was not taking care of my body. And I decided to, of course, Western medicine didn't have a lot of solutions in terms of how could I get my body to get back to a state of healing. And I decided to not take no for an answer, got angry, like one of the chapters in the book said. I did not get frustrated. I just got angry and decided to channel that anger into action. So I became my own wellness advocate. And what I learned not only helped my body heal, but I started coaching some of my coworkers. And I realized that I had a knack for coaching and mentoring people and helping people in that journey through health. So that became such a passion that I left my corporate job, went back to school, got certified as a coach, and left my corporate job at the end of 2011. That's when I met Natalie. And we met at a conference for women entrepreneurs or women that were trying to learn to become entrepreneurs or were in their journey to become entrepreneurs. And we just gravitated towards each other. We just realized that in this group of 300 women, all of the little Latin girls were like, by the end of the weekend, we were all literally took over the stage and started dancing salsa. And we realized that we were more or less the same age, and we both were based in New York City. So it was a natural, very organic kind of thing. We had a lot of things in common, right? Like we were, you know, super sassy, super, you know, strong and driven. Like I said, more or less the same age, childless. You know, not married. So we were like, we're going to be friends. This is what's going to happen.
This is just going to happen.
Yeah. And so she told me her story, which was, of course, fascinating, as the people who read the book can attest. And that was it. That was literally like a love affair that's been like 7 years in the making.
Oh, that's absolutely wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And through your connection with Natalie, you and I were able to meet. So that's just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So let's move on and talk a little bit about your participation in the book Leapfrog. We are excited, over the top, not just because it's a book from Natalie, but also because it's a book that actually speaks to the stories of brown women like you and I, and also just to any entrepreneur who feels like the underdog. It contains tons and tons of hacks within hacks in some cases. So let's talk about the hack that you're mentioned in, which is hack number 18. And it talks about passive income. So, you know, we hear a lot of stories about go ahead and get your, you know, your passive income going, and then you can just sit and watch the money roll in. Your thoughts about that is passive income is actually sweaty work. And you say that there's no such thing as do nothing and then make money. And so how has your work ethic contributed to your success?
Yeah, so it's totally true. There's no such thing. I mean, when you first start this journey as an infopreneur, right, like a person that not only offers services but offer info products online, especially, which is one of my verticals in my business, I was just mesmerized by this idea that I can create it. I have a lot of information. I'm a talker. I am a phenomenal teacher. I know that I can actually educate people on my particular area of expertise. So let me write a book. Let me buy some product that teaches me how to do this. And then I'm going to create this product and I'm going to send it off into the universe and it's going to be amazing. Nothing could be further from the truth, right? You need to learn the what, then you need to learn the how, then you need to come up with the money to support the how, not only to support you and pay your bills, but also to create these products, right? Like you need websites, you need ways to distribute this information, you need to market and promote. And sadly, it all sounds very easy in theory,
Right.
One of my biggest pet peeves is this specifically, is that you hear a lot of experts saying I'm making 7 figures with all this passive income, which might be very true. What you don't know is that they spend 7 years struggling with building a team. Like, you can't do it alone, right? Like,
No.
you might be an expert on your particular niche, but you don't know how to build a website, or you don't know how to create a copy that is engaging and is going to get the people to actually purchase from you.
Exactly.
So I want people to be realistic about those goals. While I do believe that you could get to a point that you can actually make some passive income, it is not going to happen overnight.
Right.
And you need to have a very clear, specific plan, not just for the building the infrastructure, but for the time that you're going to spend marketing and promoting and engaging with other people, with larger audiences that will hopefully sell for you in exchange, perhaps for, a piece of the pie, if you will.
Exactly. Absolutely. I totally agree with you that it's total sweaty work. You put in the work first. And I also agree that maybe down the line, it could end up being some comfortable residuals for you.
Absolutely.
But you have to lay the groundwork. You have to lay the foundation. And unfortunately, kind of like your wellness story, your wellness journey, people give up too fast when they don't see the results that they had in their mind. So it's really good for you to lay it out there and just level set. Like, listen, you may see, a person XYZ doing ABC doing XYZ. You may see them do it now, but don't compare your current chapter with their end of the book, right? You may just be starting and they're probably on the end. So don't give up. You got to put in the work, and then it'll all shake itself out.
Correct.
So then Hack 18 also talks about how despite your appealing brand, you still face challenges because of competition in a very crowded health and wellness space. How do you make your mark in such a popular industry? What did you do to differentiate yourself, in other words?
Listen, I will be the first one to tell you that I made a lot of mistakes at first. I thought, I am dynamic. I have this great, larger than life personality. I'm cute. I'm just going to, things are going to come to me by osmosis.
Right, because I'm cute. That's right. I like that as a point, because I'm cute.
I actually thought I have a lot of knowledge, but people don't know that, right? Like, you can just start creating a YouTube channel and start sharing your content, and it doesn't mean that people are gonna come to you because there's just too many people. You'll just become instead of becoming a big fish in a small pond. I actually went in there and decided to be this semi-large fish, but the pond was so huge that there's no way. There was too much noise. So about 2 or 3 years, maybe about 3 years into my entrepreneurial journey, is when I realized, okay, I'm doing this completely wrong. I'm just fighting against this huge current, and I need to be very niche specific. Like you, Nicole, one of the things that I love about your brand so much is that it's very niche specific. And I love that about a lot of brands. And I made that mistake. And so if anybody that's listening will take something out of this, is just be very specific in your niche and very specific in your brand and message before you branch out into attracting more people.
Okay. I like that point, Jovanka. If you could, though, could you share what was your, I guess, target audience initially, and how did you kind of narrow it down to what your current niche is?
So my original audience was women that needed health and wellness.
Oh, that's everybody. That's every dang woman on the planet.
Everybody. And I was like, that's a big pool. So inevitably somebody will come to me. The problem is that when you're trying to share that message, it gets diluted. There's just not enough clarity about what's in it for them. And so people go like, she's great, but so are these other 15 people, and this one person has a New York Times bestseller, and that other person has a TV show. So I'm just going to go with these people and not focus too much on this one girl. Instead, I realized that I love natural cures. I love things like herbal remedies, like things that I knew a lot about. I can take a plant and tell you how this plant can help you deal with your UTI or your headache or your hormonal issues.
Awesome.
And so once I realized that I was the herbal girl, I pivot slowly towards that particular niche. And so now it's a lot easier to attract an audience of people that are looking for natural cures, for herbal remedies. So every time you type in natural cures or herbal remedies on Facebook or on YouTube, you'll find one of my videos.
That is super awesome. And what I love about what you're saying, Jovanka, it is like the complete opposite of what people think, to be honest, right? Because you think, because I remember having a struggle with them myself about my own brand, because it's Christian based, it's mostly women of color, and we call ourselves divas. So we talk a lot about Christ. So that right there is really narrowing my pool of people. And initially I thought, man, I'm isolating all these other, women who may
7 billion other people.
Yeah. But really what I'm doing is speaking directly to those who have a similar heart, a similar spirit, a similar energy, who naturally will gravitate to who I am, and then perfecting that, right? And so versus trying to have a voice in all these other areas for which I'm not well versed in.
And
So it just makes sense.
Correct. So even though the niche is relatively small, then you can branch out into what you're offering those people. So instead of just offering, like, just to give you one example, I offer some info products, I offer quarterly cleanses, and then I offer individual coaching. And so even though the pool has become smaller, the group of people that actually are there have different ways in which they can actually work with me. So you don't need to be too concerned, especially at first. Oh my God, do I have enough an audience? Am I really going to make money doing this? Is this really going to happen? The truth of the matter is that there's many ways in which you can market to those people, but having a brand that is just very, very passionate about you and about what you have to offer is critical. And I think the book touches on this, not just on my hack. There's a number of other hacks.
My goodness, yes.
You're better off with a smaller audience that is very passionate about your brand and is very loyal and will continue to buy from you, and will, more importantly, spread the word out at you about you, and eventually it'll grow organically. And of course, eventually you're going to have to put some money into the brand and help it grow that way. But that first step, that particular, groundwork is so critical.
Oh, I love it. And what we have just touched on several hacks. So let me just kind of go through, I'm in the book right now, and I believe, and you can agree or disagree, I believe we've touched on forget passion, find things you want to punch. So identifying something that you personally connect with, that you want to fix and resolve, and then sharing that with your group of people. We talked about that. We also been talking about climbing in bed with your customer, like not just being a business owner, but we have a relationship going on. I am your advisor and your consultant at this point. So we have a different kind of relationship. I'm climbing in bed with you. In other words, I'm really understanding your needs and delivering directly to your needs versus delivering to you what I want you to know. Right?
We have been in this thing together. Absolutely.
Exactly right. We also talked about, of course, passive income is sweaty work. That's hack number 18. So we're all in section 2, and the book is divided into ready, set, go. So we're in section 2, which is the set section, and we're diving in and tearing that apart. And I really, really love how just natural dialogue, right, is pulling out all these key points in this book. And that just goes to show you that the book really does contain all aspects of what you need to deliver, and in such short, quick, and insightful ways.
They're like
So,
actionable items. They're like, you know,
mhm.
I think you and I have discussed this. Like, ideally, a book like this could actually be taken by a group of women in their, you know, monthly book club, right? But instead of just about an entertaining book, maybe it is a group of women that are in a mastermind that want to support each other in their entrepreneurial journey, and they
Right.
want to, and maybe one of them is in the go section and the other one is in the set section and the other one is in the fund section. It doesn't matter. There's like every single one of them. You can literally take every single hack and give it 1 week, and there's 50
Yeah.
of them, so it'll probably take you a year to go through all
Yeah,
50
yeah, yeah.
hacks.
We be hacking all year. And there's
You'll
nothing
be
wrong with
hacking all
that.
year.
Yeah, there's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with that, because there
Yeah.
are so many women who are sitting on their dreams, sitting on their hopes, sitting on their vision for lack of action. And
Yeah.
if you need that action, if you need that
Yeah,
first step,
exactly.
this is definitely the book that you would need to go ahead and get started. So let's go on to the
Okay.
next question. Natalie goes on in the book to mention that the online community is where you feel like you're really serving your mission because of its affordability. What is your advice for entrepreneurs looking to grow their business online? I'm like this with this one. I want to know too, girl. So what is your
So
advice?
you need to get out of your comfort zone if you're not that comfortable with social media. I personally, it's not my natural inclination to have to tell everybody in the world what I'm up to.
Mm,
I had to get out of my comfort zone when it came to that, and I still share some things that are personal. Most of my social media channels are relatively business oriented. My tone is very colloquial because I'm talking about natural cues and herbal remedies and the wisdom of the ages, and so it gets a little woo woo and a little kind of like you need to embrace your inner hippie in order to do that. So what's worked for me is one of two things. Number one, there's a lot of social media platforms, and so I wouldn't tell you to focus on all of them at once because that's a full-time job and it's just
mm,
highly overwhelming. But if
yeah.
you focus on one or two, I wouldn't focus just on one also because that is too narrow. I
Hmm.
will pick two. In this particular case, at the moment that we are actually having this conversation, uh, uh, Instagram is the most engaging one, right? Where most people seem to be showing up, and a lot of people are actually engaging in transactions, right? Like you can actually purchase things that you find on Instagram
Oh
versus stuff
yeah.
that you find on Facebook.
Yeah.
When I first started about 6 years ago, Facebook was it. So I focused on growing my Facebook and
Yeah.
my YouTube channel. Why YouTube? Because I love the camera. I love to talk. I love to show people what I'm doing, right, with respect to these particular remedies. So it came natural to me. My first language is not English. I don't consider myself the best of writers. So I didn't want to create a blog or a system that was all in writing. I wanted to be able to talk my talk.
Yeah.
And if I
Yeah.
made mistakes or if, the accent got thicker at some point or another, I did not care. Like most people think that the accent is cute. So I'm like, whatever.
I think it's
So
super cute, girl.
thank you. So I grew my audience in those two verticals, right? On Facebook and YouTube. I'm
Mhm.
kind of leaving Facebook a little bit to the side now because right now I have about 50,000 followers there. They're well taken care of. I still communicate with them. I still engage with them on a regular basis. But my focus is now growing other social media platforms like Instagram and
Right.
continue to grow YouTube because I still consider YouTube my primary form of sharing information with the world. And a lot of clients, a lot of prospects come to me through my YouTube channels. So
Really?
it's in my, yeah, it will continue to be my primary focus, at least until there's another such platform that allows me to continue to grow my audience, ideally through video.
That is super awesome. And I love the advice to focus on two because there's so many. It can end up being overwhelming if you want to try and do Twitter and Pinterest and IG and Facebook. And you might at the moment you might be a solopreneur, and
Right.
maintaining four different platforms at once is just not
Oh,
possible.
impossible. Unless
Yeah,
you
and
have,
you're totally setting yourself up for failure. So
right.
be careful for, setting up goals that are just not realistic. So
Right. And
ideally,
until you
two.
have the funds, you might grow to a point where you can actually hire people, social media managers. Even the social media managers, if they're working on a part-time basis, they will be the first ones to tell you you need to focus on one or two,
One
maybe
or two.
three, but
Mm-hmm.
certainly you're not. And also, one other thing that's super important, you might want to go into all of those social media platforms and start studying them and recognizing which ones speak your language best. So if
Ah,
you're the kind that is more political or more kind of like in your face, perhaps Twitter is for you. If
yeah.
you are the one that loves to take beautiful pictures and it's all about the ideal of life, then
Mm-hmm.
Instagram might be for you. If your audience is much older, like maybe people over the age of 35 up to 65, maybe Facebook is what you need to focus on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My audience tend to be a little bit on the younger side, and so that's another one of the reasons why I pick YouTube. The average user on YouTube is 25 years old.
Oh, awesome. And probably the same is true for Instagram as well. Do you have any tips that you want to share for the entrepreneurs who are watching, who may find themselves with an audience who is a little bit older and they are on Facebook? How did you grow your Facebook audience to 50K? Wow, that's awesome.
So Facebook has shifted incredibly in the last few years
Algorithm.
since
Yeah.
I was growing my business. I have had a few meetings. Once you're considered a they have a word for that, but people that are, I think it's 45,000 or between 45,000 and 100,000, which is where I follow or where I fall. They will start sending you information. They will invite you to their mixers and will tell you what's up with the brand, and then you utilize that
Nice.
to grow. So what I've learned in the last 12 months, truly, is that they are definitely more interested in video.
Mm,
Video is the thing.
yeah.
The live broadcast like this one is
Yeah.
also the thing. The
Okay.
problem with Facebook is that it's now way too big.
Oh.
So even when you have a platform as large as mine, they're taking away certain things like sending you messages when somebody goes live, or when somebody sends a post or something. You may not see it because Facebook is not sending you a notification that somebody is online at that particular moment. So what I've heard from people is that your personal page has become kind of more of a hub for people that are looking to grow their audience or get prospects. And certainly Facebook groups are still the most important aspects where people can grow an audience. And I'm talking about groups that not just your open fan page, but groups that might be private or public, where you actually are in control of what happens in there, and the notifications get sent to all those people, and it's just a lot easier to interact with your Facebook audience through those groups.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, congratulations on your success on Facebook, and good luck with growing out Instagram, and also
Yeah.
congrats for YouTube. So I love how you were staging it where you're doing two at a time. You focused on Facebook and YouTube, and now you're moving on to doing a little bit more of IG, and I see you a little bit more active on Twitter as well. So that's a good thing to be able to be present in all of the platforms. And so another good point is, while you may not be able to be 100% in all of them, it is
Yeah.
good to have a presence, right? So
Correct.
I am not an active Twitter user, but I have a Twitter handle, right?
Correct.
And I share and I retweet. So you want to be able to be on the platform, but you don't
Absolutely.
necessarily have to use it as your primary. My primary currently is Facebook and, of course, Instagram. And I allow them to copy my posts over to Twitter. So it's kind of like a secondary type
Correct.
thing
And
for
listen,
me.
as a solopreneur or as a person starting business, you want to be really disciplined so that this doesn't become overwhelming. I would still, to this day, sit down on a Sunday night and pre-post 4 or 5 posts on Facebook, 2 or 3 on IG, whatever it is, that it doesn't take you more than an hour, maybe an hour and a half of your Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening. But have clarity about what you want to post. And that way you have a constant flow of information being shared, but you don't have to spend, an hour every day scrolling through all kinds of posts and articles to find out, smart information to post and share with your community. It gets overwhelming. And even though it's an hour every day, that's an hour that you could be using for all kinds of other things.
Yeah.
So if you're first starting and you're starting to grow, spend some time once a week organizing your posts and pre-posting. Facebook has a way to pre-post. Instagram has an app called Latergram where you can pre-post your Instagram posts. I don't think Twitter has one of those, but there's a lot of other systems and programs. There's Edgar, there's Hootsuite. There's a lot of other programs. Most of them are actually free on their basic plan that you can use to pre-post your stuff. And then once it's posted, you can just tweak and, share and do little things to help the post look like it's happening live in the moment.
That's exactly right. You can go ahead and leverage any one of those scheduling tools to help save your day, because you don't want to be in the middle of your day creating brand new posts. Now, sometimes that happens when events like maybe someone important passes away, or there's something crazy happening in the news that you could not have seen or foreseen, on a Sunday or whatever. You want to do those, but the basic posts, it is good to go ahead and just schedule those ahead of time. Can you believe that it is already 10:30? Like this was the fastest conversation.
Half an hour.
So I want to ask those who are watching to please leave any questions you might have for Jovanka in the comments, because we would love to answer them live before we leave you guys today. So go ahead, and if you have a question, go ahead and leave those and we'll address them here shortly. But my last question for you, Jovanka, is just around being a Latina and health and wellness. Did that help you? Did that hurt you? Was it it didn't impact you at all? Tell us more about being the wonderful, sassy Latina that you are in the health and wellness space that, in my opinion, from my perspective, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's just really not something that brown people are into as much as we would like them to be. It's shifting, right? That's just my view. So if you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit about being a sassy Latina in health and wellness.
Absolutely. So yes, that is one of my other pet peeves is that often I go to conferences and to events, even basic yoga classes, and I'm very often the only person of color in there. There might be one other, maybe an Asian girl sitting in another corner, but you barely see brown people in yoga classes or wellness events. And I think that's a travesty, obviously, because this world is for all of us.
Yeah.
Certainly, the focus of my business, natural cures, herbal remedies, came from the cultures from outside of the primary culture that in this country, like Latinos and Hispanic people, African people, Indian people, Southeast Asians. They have such a wealth of information when it comes to natural cures and herbal remedies. It's really fascinating. So all of this is ours to share with the world. So it's really sad to me that the wellness world is not tackling people of color, is not embracing people of color, is not like asking them, come join us because we have something amazing. Most of the programs out there are geared towards the main culture, right? Like the biggest group of people in this country. You rarely see products that are marketed to a multicultural audience.
Yeah.
That
And
is
it's funny though, Jovanka, I've thought a little bit about this, and from my perspective, I can understand a little bit why. I don't like it, but I do understand why, because a lot of us, and when I say us, I mean brown people, minorities, we are more focused on making money. You know,
right.
we are more focused on keeping our families together and keeping them safe. You know,
Right.
there are other taxing priorities in our minds other than
In
health.
the
Health is on top
absolutely
of that. So if we don't have a job that pays enough to
right.
buy the spinach versus the iceberg, you know,
Right.
what can I do?
Right.
But it is up to people like you and people like me
Or
to
like you,
share.
exactly. And the truth of the matter is that what we would want and what I would love to see in the wellness world is big brands coming to people like us and saying, you already have a brand, you're already talking to a multicultural audience. We are here. We are. I'm here to support you in this journey so that you can attract more of the same, and hopefully get people excited about this. Because even if money is an issue, we're not expecting you to go and buy really fancy coffee and put butter in it and just spend tons of money on that kind of stuff. I am here to teach you how to use whatever budget you have, small as it might be, to make choices that will carry you and your family through a journey of health, and so that you can live a healthy, strong life for generations.
And
We
a
are
lot of it too,
very strong and healthy people, and we need to re-embrace the wisdom of our ancestors.
Amen. I totally agree with that. And a lot of it, some of it has to do with money, but most of it has to do with mindset. We just believe it costs more. We just believe it takes more time. We just believe that it won't taste the same. We just have all these erroneous beliefs about what it means to be healthy and well, and be a minority in doing so. So I applaud you for your platform of herbalism, of veganism, of all of the things that you were doing to push the conversation forward to make our communities healthier, because that's what this is all about, especially in your and then guys, if you have not yet gone to Jovanka's site, please do head out to JovankaCiares.com. She has a wealth of information. I am just so excited and honored to be in your space. And I am excited about how we're going to partner together with Fit, Fine, and Fabulous. So if you're watching and you're in the Diva Hood, you should know that Jovanka is an instructor in the Diva Hood, and she does have a course that will be launching soon all about herbs. So I'm excited to bring that to the Divas in the Diva Hood. So I thank you for sharing your wealth of knowledge on YouTube with us. So,
and to the leapfroggers, just continue to share these particular interviews, because there's all of them. I mean, the 6 that came before mine just has so much amazing information out there, guys. Somebody has a question. Nicole, can you write that and say that while I go get my battery, because my computer literally has 3% battery and it's about to die. So I'll be back in 30 seconds.
Yes, Valeska, thank you so very much for your question. And your question is, what is the best way to get to know your community and really understand what they need? And I can start dialoguing on that, because I do have a community as well. It's Fit, Fine, and Fabulous. It's on Facebook. We do a little bit on Twitter. We do a lot on Instagram as well. And the best way to get to know them is by talking with them, is by engaging them. And sometimes for me, that includes doing free challenges, because of course I'm in health and wellness, and we talk a lot about maybe like a water challenge or an abs challenge. So it really just depends, Valeska, on what your niche is. So if you have a particular niche that you specialize in and you want to reach your audience, think of ways that you as a customer would want to engage with a business owner. So put your customer hat on and think of, what would I want to hear from someone like me? What would I want to know from someone like me? So just sharing free information and not always trying to sell. It's really not about that. Share from the heart first, and everything else will come after that, especially if you know that you're giving good content and that you're engaging them and you're really trying to solve a problem. And not just trying to make a buck. So you lead with your heart, and that's basically my advice. You just lead with your heart, and then you get to know them.
Yeah, I will go a little further and also say that ask them what they want, right? Even if it's just a small group of people, if you only have like 20 followers, you can still ask them and maybe offer them something like, say, you know what, I'm trying to grow, I'm trying to offer what you would want. What's in it for you? What do you want? What will make this process easier for you? What would you want to hear from me? And then certainly, engage them with really fun things. I know Nicole is actually the expert at this. She loves offering her community, we're going to do this little challenge, and the winner of this challenge will get whatever, a Fitbit, or will get, a branded bottle, or whatever it is that will get people excited. I mean, it's not just the little tchotchke that you're going to offer somebody. It's truly that you care. They can tell that you want to help them, and they will come. Trust me, you will have your super fans. You will have your people that will always open your emails. You will have your people that will always be there buying your products, and slowly but steadily that audience will grow. Patience is key. I cannot stress that enough. You want to have a steady pace, but you don't want to get rid of, you don't want to feel like you are not doing enough and that you feel like you're failing. I think there's a quote on the book that I say, by the time you see somebody being super successful, right? Like by the time you see the Cardi B's of the world, you believe that they became successful overnight. But the truth of the matter is that these people have been hustling potentially for years. There's always, don't get me wrong, there's always going to be the crazy Kardashian sister who was born wealthy and is piggybacking on the fame of the older sisters. She's riding that wave. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people like Nicole or people like me who they weren't born with a silver spoon. They came into this industry with no connections, no contacts, no audience, nobody that will follow them, and literally started from the ground up. And by the time you see somebody on TV, there's been quite literally years of working 50 hours a week, of, like crazy, hustling. And loving hustling. So it's important that we all keep that into perspective, because social media can be really
deceiving. We don't want to be ghosted into thinking that success is overnight. We also don't want to be ghosted into thinking that entrepreneurship looks like a wonderful book and a wonderful outfit, and your makeup's done and your hair is all together, and you're in Amazon or you're in Barnes and Noble or somewhere looking fabulous while you're on your computer. That's really not what it looks like either. Right. So there are all these preconceived ideas and notions about what entrepreneurship looks like. So follow your own journey and do it from your heart, and I love your advice, Jovanka, about just asking the question. Just ask them. Ask them, what do you want to hear from me? What do you want to learn? What about this, and this? Vote. Let's vote. I'm going to offer A, B, and C. Which one would you prefer? So just get out there, do the dirty work, and ask the questions. So we are at the 45-minute mark.
Oh my God. I knew this was going to happen, by the way. We were there for like an hour.
Oh, yeah. Like, I don't want to let you go. That's why I just keep babbling. But before I do let you go, it's coming to an end, you guys. I do want to ask just one more question, if that's okay. What is next for Jovanka Ciares? What's coming up, friend? What do you want the
Oh,
people to know?
no, this is a really good question, and it's actually will actually be a good point for people because for the last maybe year and a half to 2 years, I've had a dream of creating an herbal supplement line, and I've had some ups and downs with some business potential business partners that kind of fell through and decided that I wasn't going to do it, and then became fearful about the idea of going into business for products, right? And so this has been a really interesting journey, and it's also the reason why I'm bringing all this up is because it's important for people to know that even when you have been an entrepreneur for a few years, when your business is pivoting, when you are actually shifting into another area, that fear, that concern, that like, how am I going to pay my bills? Do I actually have enough money to go into another side of business? Who's going to be my partner? How am I going to do this? It's very, very normal. It's human nature. We just have to embrace that fear. And it's like that book from this author that I can't remember right now, but will tell you, you know what, instead of trying to get away from the fear and claim that you can actually control it and move it away, instead you're going to say, this is here. This is part of who it is, being human.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell fear from now on, you're going to be on the backseat of this ride.
That's right.
And you don't have a say in where we go or what music we listen to. Or which road we take. You're just there in case a bear chase me and I know how to get away from it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just there because you're part of being human, but I'm not going to let you define me any longer.
No.
So to answer your question, the long-winded answer is the next year will be focused on a herbal supplement line.
That is super awesome.
The first line of products will be to help with digestion. So it'll be a supplement line for digestive health.
And honey, I will be your first customer because I totally need that. And I'm so excited for what's to come for you. Thank you so much for being a friend, first off. Thank you so much for the dialogue today. It was absolutely fabulous. And thank you for everyone who's watching. If you still have some questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. We'll still be around for a few minutes to read them and we can answer them in written form. But thank you guys so very much for joining the Leapfroggers Live series.
Thank you
this
so
is the
much.
last of 7, and I will miss doing this. It's been a wonderful experience. So thank you to Natalie for giving me the opportunity and the platform to do so. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you. And Jovanka, I'll hand it over to you for any closing words.
Thank you so much again for all of this. This has been an amazing journey. And I'm so proud of being part of this book, not only as a friend, but as part of the book too. Get the book and just make sure that you follow that dream, because that passion is what's going to fuel you through the years of hustling until you get your success. And know for a fact that you will find a group of mentors that will help you through that journey. There is a group there for you. There is a posse for you, just like Nicole and I have become posse for one another.
Yes.
For one another. Crew. People out there to support you in this journey. So never, ever, ever just relinquish in that dream.
All right. Well, that's a great way to end this series. Thank you, Jovanka. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you guys for watching. Until we meet again, you guys have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.